course, thanks for coming. Hey guys, welcome to my Derby at Home. Hello, America. Welcome to Derby Goes to Hollywood. I'm Eric Miles. I'll be your host for the day. We have a jam-packed afternoon filled with exciting events, a few surprises, and memorable moments for you throughout the day. Now I'm going to introduce you to Emmy, the mini horse with big dreams of making it to the Derby.
Kentucky Derby.
The run for the Triple Crown continues today.
And they're into the stretch.
The Kentucky Derby today, 2:30 Eastern on NBC.
And now we're going to shake things up, or maybe stirred, with my good friend Jules at his house.
Hey guys, I'm Jules Talker and welcome to my house. I'm going to show you how we are going to Kentucky Derby this year. Today I'm going to show you how to make a Jules julep, baby, the right way.
All right, so let's turn it up a notch with celebrity mixologist Charity, who's going to show us exactly how Hollywood does Derby at home.
Welcome to Derby Goes Hollywood. I'm Charity Johnston and this is my bar. Stay tuned and I'm going to show you how to make some fun Derby cocktails.
Next, we're going to introduce you to Chris Morris, the legendary master distiller of Woodford Reserve. Pretty cool job.
Hi, I'm Chris Morris, the master distiller at the Woodford Reserve Distillery, home of the official bourbon of Churchill Downs and the Kentucky Derby, Woodford Reserve. I wish we were together in the stands this weekend enjoying the Derby together. So the next best thing is we're doing it via Hollywood. So we're going to talk about some fun historic facts and how the Derby and bourbon and Woodford Reserve have a long history together.
Hi everyone. All right, so we're going to make an old fashioned with Woodford Reserve and we are going to do a old fashioned. So let's get started. Pretty simple, so you can do it at home. We're going to use some almond liqueur, just 1/4 ounce. Keep it really small, not too sweet. You're going to get some of the sweetness from the Woodford as well. You're going to do 2 ounces of Woodford Reserve right on top. Wow. And some chocolate bitters. We're going to do 2 pulls because we want it really chocolatey. Great. And some ice. And for an old fashioned, we're going to stir it, get a little bit of water in there, but not too much. Keep lots of flavor. nice big cube. Strain it, pretty simple. And I'm gonna use some sage and smoke this cocktail, add a little extra elements. So we're gonna light the sage. There we go. Stick the cocktail underneath. Let it fill a bit. It's just gonna add an extra element to the cocktail. All right. Some beautiful rose petals. And there is your old fashioned. Enjoy.
Love a good smoked cocktail. I'll have one of those. Next, I'd like to introduce you to my good friend Victoria, who does incredible work with many therapy horses. I visited with her recently in the Santa Monica Mountains, and I think you'll love her story.
Hi, I'm Victoria, and this is Pacific Blue Moon. And we're here in the Santa Monica Mountains, and we are so happy to have you here. Welcome to our mini therapy horse ranch. I've always loved horses since I'm a little kid, and I love all types of horses, big and small, and all the horse sports. But I was involved with a sport called dressage for many, many years and competed. And I always thought, someday I want one of those little mini horses to have as a pet at home. So when I decided to retire from my sport and go back to painting, because I'm also an animal painter, I got one little miniature horse from Santa Ynez. And I started training her, and with all my horse experience, I realized I could train her to do all kinds of things. And that's when the light bulb went off, and I thought maybe I could help people with this little horse. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Wow. Victoria, thank you. So how about we hear a little bit more about how we actually got here?
Kentucky was settled in the 1770s, and our ancestors brought two things with them through the famous Cumberland Gap. They brought stills and horses because they were of English, Irish, Scotch-Irish, and Welsh descent. They loved to race horses, and they loved to make whiskey. And they settled in the central part of Kentucky. And in 1774, the first whiskey was made in this state, made from corn, the native grain. So our ancestors are making whiskey and raising horses. And very quickly, they became combined because the population was spread out in this inner bluegrass region of Kentucky and didn't get together very often. So when they did get together for these initial county fairs, they brought two things with them. They brought their whiskey and their horses. They drank and bragged about their whiskey, and they raced their horses. So the two industries grew up side by side. And until the Civil War, most horse farms had their own distillery. They were that connected. And then after the war, we see the growth of the bourbon industry as we know it as an independent industry, and the thoroughbred horse breeding industry as well. So again, historically, the two are linked together. They always have been, and certainly with Churchill Downs, the Kentucky Derby, and Woodford Reserve, they still are.
Chris, tell us the history of the Derby.
The first Kentucky Derby was run in 1874, and it's run every year since. It's the longest continuously held sporting event in the history of our country. And in those early decades, the sport was dominated by African American jockeys. Famous jockeys by the name of the Lewis brothers and Isaac Murphy. 10 jockeys won 15 derbies before 1900. And again, they're in the Hall of Fame, and they were instrumental in establishing the industry as we know it today.
Now we're going to show you how Emmy and her friends picnic responsibly. Okay, so next we're going to see how Chris makes his mint julep.
Another great Kentucky Derby tradition, always linked with bourbon, is the mint julep, the official drink of Churchill Downs since 1938. Churchill Downs and the Kentucky Derby, obviously growing up with bourbon, has to have a bourbon-themed cocktail. And this drink dates back, like bourbon, into the 1700s, when our ancestors turned a drink that was made with rum or brandy into what it is today by including Kentucky bourbon as the spirit. Mint to brace, a bit of sugar to sweeten it, and lots of ice to cool you down on that hot Derby day. So since 1938, the mint julep, a most historic bourbon-based drink, has been so popular on Derby Day.
I wonder how Jules does it.
Okay, so for the Jules julep, you're gonna take a Woodford Reserve right here. And you know what we do? We take 2 ounces. Then we're gonna take our simple syrup, which we have ½ an ounce of. Pour that puppy right in there. Woo! A little messy, but that's okay. We're at home, so who cares, right? Okay, and then next, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna take a little bit of minty here. We're gonna pop, one, oh, we missed that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm gonna do 5, okay? But we say 3, but depends how you like it. Now, normally, you wanna shake a cocktail. No, my friend. Today, you know what we're gonna do? We are gonna stir that puppy. We need a little bit of Latin hip in there. We're gonna stir them right up. And then we're gonna pour it over our beautiful glass of lovely ice here. Here we go. And that's it. That's the Jules julep. Cheers.
All right, thanks, Jules. We're going to switch it up a little bit. We may come back to you. We have a special surprise for the folks at home.
With over 200 flavor notes, every sip of Woodford Reserve Bourbon is a spectacle for the senses.
Although the red carpet looked a little different this year, nothing was going to stop Emmy from having her red carpet moment.
Well, what's a Derby without a julep? So we are going to make a twist on a mint julep. So we're just going to actually build it in the copper cup. Take a nice bit of mint, give it a clap, and in the glass. I'm going to spruce it up a little bit and do a little bit of orange blossom water. Just make it a little more fun and floral. Simple syrup, which is just sugar and water, very simple. 1/4 ounce, you don't need it too sweet. There's very little components to this cocktail, and you really want to taste the whiskey. Most important part. We're going to do 2 ounces of Woodford Reserve right over all the ingredients. And then add some crushed ice. So you're gonna get a nice bit of water from the crushed ice. I'm gonna give it a little bit of mix. So you get the mint, the ice, the orange blossom. And I feel like we're in a floral mood, so I'm gonna do some rose water on top. Little mist. And I love doing fun garnishes, especially for an event like this. So we'll do a nice bushel of mint, some candied pearls, and some dried rose petals with gold dust. Fun Derby straw, and it's ready. Enjoy.
Super tasty. I love those, and perfect for any season, really. Not unlike the jockeys in the Derby, this bourbon is incredibly balanced, and I know someone who can tell us a little bit more about that. My good friend Jeff, brand ambassador for Woodford Reserve, take it away.
Hi, my name is Jeff Seymour. I'm the Woodford Reserve brand ambassador here in California. One of the most important aspects that I like to highlight when discussing Woodford Reserve is our dedication to flavor. In fact, there's over 200 detectable flavors in Woodford Reserve. So we've created a culinary exercise that you can replicate at home, showcasing this through our flavor wheel experience. What you're gonna need is some aged Parmesan, toasted hazelnuts, dried cranberry, orange slice, dark chocolate, and sorghum gum. If you can't find sorghum gum here on the West Coast, don't worry, you can easily substitute either maple syrup or agave nectar. Both will work in this case. After you've gathered everything, go to our website and check out Cultivating a Tasting. From there, you'll be able to see and learn how Woodford Reserve, when paired with each of these food items, will create a unique culinary tasting experience.
What'd I tell you? Thanks, Jeff. This is a special year as we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of the first woman jockey in the history of the Kentucky Derby. Chris, what can you tell us about it?
50 years ago, in 1970, Derby 96, history was made. Of course, every Derby is historic, but this is really significant because a young lady by the name of Diane Crump was the first female jockey to ride in the Kentucky Derby. Not only the Derby, but at any major horse racing event. She was a true pioneer. She finished 15th in that Derby out of 17 entrants aboard Fathom. But more importantly, she broke that barrier, and of course we now have wonderful female jockeys in the industry. And at the request of Diane, this year the proceeds of our wonderful Woodford Reserve $1,000 mint julep program go to a wonderful charity.
Especially in these times, we all could use a little boost. How do these horses help the people?
I'd love to tell you about our mini therapy horse program and all the different things we do to help people in need. We have 9 fantastic little beautiful angels. They're miniature horses. This is Blue Moon. She's 4 years old. And we have them from 6 months to 13 years. And we start training them very young. We really focus on people that are going through traumatic events, that have experienced all kinds of issues like we go to the Veterans Hospital every week. We've been there for over 12 years, and there we work with people with traumatic brain injuries and PTSD. And I run a program in the lockdown psychiatric ward, and we go to the intensive care unit there and visit all different floors with people going through all kinds of surgeries and crisis. And it's so amazing how much these little horses help people and the connections they make and how they touch people's hearts. And no matter what kind of pain you're going through or discomfort or all kinds of memory issues and depression, when someone sees one of these little horses, they can give them a little hug. They can come, the horses go next to the beds, and it makes such a difference in people's lives. So we're continuously working with different people that need us, and it's very rewarding for all of us and our volunteers.
Truly inspirational. Thank you so much, Victoria. I know she loves to celebrate, so I wonder how Emmy's commemorating 50 years of women's history at the Derby with her friends today.
All right, we have another fun one. This one is going to be a little less classic than the others and kind of putting some fun ingredients with our Woodford. All right, let's get started. We're going to start with some fresh mint, some sage, kind of sticking with some of the ingredients we used earlier. Nice firm press. Just making sure we got it. We're going to do an ounce of passion fruit syrup. So this is going to be your sweet, but passion fruit has a nice acidity that will go well with the whiskey. Fresh lime juice. We're going to balance it out by also doing 1 ounce. You got to work for the lime juice. All right. 1 ounce. Everyone's favorite part, the Woodford Reserve. So 2 ounces of this. And we're going to shake this cocktail. It's the fun part. I'm going to use a wine glass, put some ice in here. Strain it on top. Some bitters, nice little float. So this is going to kind of balance out the sweet and the sour and give you a little bit of bitter, which will go really nice. I have some warm water and dry ice. This is also the fun part. I'm going to put some sage in here and a little bit of rose extract. And this is going to give a really nice nose to the cocktail. And it's fun. This will impress your guests. Sage leaf and a rose. There you go.
Now that's how I really love to sip a cocktail. Wow, look at this beautiful bottle. Special art, unique every year. Chris, tell us what's up.
Cheers to this year's Woodford Reserve Derby bottle artist, Richard Sullivan. For the past 21 years, Woodford Reserve has had a wonderful, unique piece of artwork, equine-based artwork on the bottle, making it a true collectible item. Same great bourbon that you enjoy all the time, but presented in a very handsome bottle. So this year, 21 years of Derby art from Woodford Reserve.
Wow, really cool. A cocktail that I'm very fond of. Let's see Chris do an old-fashioned.
Now, we've talked about the mint julep and what a tradition it is, but there's another tradition linked to the horse industry in Kentucky, and that's the most popular cocktail in the world today, the old-fashioned cocktail. And the old-fashioned cocktail was taken from Kentucky in the 1880s to New York and from there around the world by a horse breeder who happened to be born on the grounds of the Woodford Reserve Distillery. The home he was born in still stands behind our distillery. So we've got a real link to the old-fashioned cocktail. And let's go ahead and make this because, you know, a mint julep's wonderful, but sometimes you want another flavor profile in hand on Derby Day. And it's a very simple drink to make. We're going to start with some simple syrup. And I've just made this by melting sugar in water. And I'm going to put a couple bar spoons, maybe 3 bar spoons of simple syrup in my old-fashioned glass. Well, next we're going to add bitters. And I've got some Woodford Reserve aromatic bitters. Any bitters will do, but why not Woodford Reserve bitters? And then the official bourbon of Churchill Downs and the Kentucky Derby. And we like to say it's the greatest 2 ounces in bourbon because, of course, the Derby is the greatest 2 minutes in sport. We're going to put 2 ounces of Woodford Reserve right on top of that syrup and bitters. And we're going to stir that up a bit. Again, see how easy. The greatest drinks are so easy to make. Then we're going to add some ice. And the ice we use is not crushed ice like the mint julep, but just normal cubed ice. Just good old cubed ice here. Plenty of ice. That looks great. And again, we'll stir it up, make sure it gets nice and cold. And then garnish. And we're going to garnish with a little bit of orange and then a Woodford Reserve marinated cherry. That's how simple the world's favorite cocktail is. And remember, it has a direct connection to Kentucky and to Woodford Reserve. Cheers.
Wow. Fun fact, one of my first jobs was working as a stable hand with horses. I grew incredibly connected to them, and I'm wondering what types of interaction your trainers are having with the horses.
Hi everyone, Blue Moon and I want to introduce you to our wonderful volunteers and horses. This is Brianna with Willow, and Kate with Louise, and Cheryl with Bindi, and Danielle with Sky Blue, our baby, and that's Jamie with Pearl and Belle, and Luis with Magic and Lily. Welcome to Mini Therapy Horses.
I'm moved. Thank you, Victoria.
With over 200 flavor notes, every sip of Woodford Reserve Bourbon is a spectacle for the senses.
All right, thanks, Jules. We're going to switch it up a little bit. We may come back to you. We have a special surprise for the folks at home. I'm hearing there's a secret ingredient in the bourbon, similar to the bagels in New York. It's in the water, in a little town called Versailles. You might think it's Versailles, but in Kentucky, they say Versailles. Believe me, I've driven past. Chris, let us know what this special ingredient has in common with both the bourbon and the horses.
Bourbon and thoroughbred horses bred and born and raised in Kentucky have something in common, more than history. They have limestone water. Our region is rich in limestone water. The Woodford Reserve Distillery itself sits atop 300 feet of solid limestone, and the water we use to make Woodford Reserve bubbles up through the ground through a series of 5 springs, and that's the water we use. This water is full of calcium and other minerals, and that's that same water that the thoroughbreds are drinking, and it's the same water that makes the grass so rich and again full of calcium and minerals, making thoroughbreds strong and fast. Both are key ingredients in bourbon, in Woodford Reserve, and the finest horses in the world. So again, the terroir of Kentucky is key to these 2 great products and 2 great traditions.
A wealth of information as always. Thank you, Chris. Ladies and gentlemen, the time is now. Let's hear more about Woodford, women, and whiskey.
Hi, I am Megan Winkler, and I've been working with horses for 8 years. This is Babe. She is 23 years old, and I have been riding her for about 10 years. I am excited to be a woman working with horses because I love inspiring the younger generation. Babe is so unique because she is the one that I can put anyone on. Anyone can ride her, no matter whether they've ever been on a horse or not.
Hi, my name is Allie Hyatt, and this is Cupid's Victory. I have been working with horses for the past 15 years, and I first started working with them when I was about 5 years old.
My name is Lindsay Prentice, and I have been riding horses for 25 years. This horse is a Holsteiner, and she is an English horse. We do hunter jumper, so we have English saddles, a bit smaller than a Western saddle with no horn, so you gotta really know how to hold on. I'm a proud woman to ride horses because I grew up learning from women who started a nonprofit for equine therapy, and I have grown into that role. I'm on the board. It's a very important part of my background, and I love that I'm going to teach my daughter that, so the younger generation will continue to learn and give back to the community. This horse right here is incredibly special because she was a part of our program as a veteran horse. She helped rehabilitate our veterans, and it is an amazing opportunity to have and to be able to be a part of it.
Thank you, Emmy, and your women rider friends. We appreciate all of your efforts and have a great Derby Day.
We hope to see you at the races, and thank you for coming to Emmy's Derby Party at home.
Thank you so much for joining us here today, and we hope you are inspired to learn more about women, horses, and whiskey.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the races.
Now let's see what surprise Woodford has for the mini therapy horses.
Thank you so much, Woodford Reserve, on behalf of Mini Therapy Horses.
You are welcome.
Thank you so much for spending time with us at Mini Therapy Horses. And if you'd like to learn more information and support our program, go to minitherapyhorses.com. See you soon.
Now, how about that? You never know what we're going to surprise you with here at Derby Goes to Hollywood.
With over 200 flavor notes, every sip of Woodford Reserve Bourbon is a spectacle for the senses.
So, what can I say? I hope we didn't disappoint. You spent the day with us here in Hollywood. We've done the Derby. We've had surprises, inspiration, everything that you could ask for a special day like today. I hope you enjoyed your time. And the last thing before we go, I'll leave you with this. It's not a race, so drink slowly.